Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil and this is...
El Bandito.
How's it going tonight, El Bandito?
Oh man, I'm having an awesome night tonight because it's not Groundhog's Day, so that's great.
Oh, you know it, man. You know it. It came and gone, and what did they say? I know there's going to be like another 6 weeks of winter, according to that little groundhog, Phil.
What a shock. I think that's never not been the case.
Always kind of a go-to, right? But
absolutely.
Definitely it's on all the calendars, man, so people still celebrate Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, they do. They make a big deal out of it, have big parties, conventions. There's a whole bunch of events we're going to let you guys know about later towards the end of the show. But today we're going to dedicate the show to all sorts of time loops and crazy stuff. Ooh.
Oh, you know it, man. It's funny because, Groundhog's Day, the movie that came out in 1993, really kind of set the stage for this. And I mean, it's just, you guys are going to be real surprised in all the different facets of media that this has popped up in.
Absolutely. And kind of celebrating the movie and the fact that it gave birth to its own trope. Like, it's called the Groundhog Day trope. It's not the predestination paradox or anything like that. It's a specific sort of trope and time loop where you keep coming back to the same day, the same event, the same few hours, the same, time, just over and over and over again, and you keep reliving it over and over and over again. So if you haven't seen the show, we're going to run down a little bit of just what Groundhog's Day is. So if you haven't seen the movie back in the day, all you millennials out there and stuff, stick around. You're gonna get to see some cool stuff. But I just wanted to take a minute to let you guys know about an exciting, super awesome event that's actually happening next week right here on the Power Hour of Love, because we'll be celebrating our 3-year anniversary for doing the podcast.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's really amazing to think that we've been doing this for so long. We started off on PoDunk Radio doing our radio show, and man, now we've gone to the visual medium, man. I just know, a lot of folks have been listening to us for a while, man, and now they just loved it. They get to see our beautiful faces too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to work this out so we can see their beautiful faces as well at some point, because that's something I'd really like to do, because I've seen some of the people posting in the Facebook comments before, and there's some sexy women's out there listening, watching the show, man.
Oh, you know it, man. And that's the thing, man. If it's your first time tuning in, man, why don't you tell them what the Power Hour of Love is all about?
Absolutely. Here at the Power Hour of Love, we like to dedicate an hour to a bunch of stuff that we love, man, because, out there in the world today, there's so much media and entertainment that's just negative. They're trying to tell you that everything's bad. Oh, your water could be poisoned. Oh, there could be bombs dropped any minute. And it's like, man, we don't take the time to stop and appreciate all the awesome stuff that's around all the time. So we're taking the time to spread the love. We hope you can spread the love, like and share the video. That'd be super awesome. Help us out a whole bunch. And definitely tune in next week when we're going to have a whole new kind of layout for the show. We're going to have some special guests in studio. We are going to do a giveaway, so there'll be some free stuff for some people to get. We're going to do contests live on the show, which will be super fun. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a tribute to Valentine's Day, because, of course, the Power Hour of Love started on Valentine's Day. So as our tribute this year, we're going to be counting down the 5 best Valentine's Day opening weekend movies ever.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like El Bandito said, special guests, prizes, giveaways. Just a lot of fun, man. We're going to be celebrating. You guys should celebrate with us. Who knows, man? You might even get a little something that you could use on Valentine's Day, too.
Absolutely, guys. All right, but let's get back to Groundhog's Day. Let's jump right into it, and let's see what the flick was all about.
Oh, yeah.
Pew, 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 pew. It's about nothing. There you go. All right, so Groundhog's Day starred Bill Murray, Andie MacDowell, like you said, came out in 1993, and was the story of a guy named Phil, who's a news anchor, who showed up to do a story on Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog who looks, to see his shadow, and they have a big celebration. But he goes to Punxsutawney, what was it?
That's
Illinois or something?
Well, I think it's Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, there you go, you got it. And I just like to make sure Senior Bull's paying attention sometimes. But yeah, so he's up there in Pennsylvania. He gets snowed in. He can't leave the town. So he's stuck there till the end of the day. But then when he wakes up the next day, he realizes it's the same day all over again.
Oh, yeah,
and he
man.
keeps living through that over and over and over, to the point where he kind of just gets fed up, starts smashing his alarm clock. It plays a Sonny and Cher song every morning when he gets up, and it just drives him crazy. And it takes him a while to really kind of realize what's going on and kind of start to take advantage of the situation.
And just a little fun for you guys. Can you tell us what Sonny and Cher song that was in the comments? Just throw it in there, man. It'd be kind of fun.
And, of course, he does exactly what I would do. He starts just eating everything, just being a complete glutton, giving into his vices totally. He starts going around, lying to women, making up stories, learning about them, and then telling them back the next iteration of the day. So he's hooking up with all sorts of chicks and just being a scumbag, but taking advantage of the situation. But it quickly turns sour when he realizes, like, hey, man, I can't get out of this day. It's the same crap every day after day after day after day. And after what seems like weeks or maybe even months, he really starts losing his marbles to the point where he kidnaps Punxsutawney Phil, thinking he's some sort of, mystic symbol that's keeping him trapped here, and tries killing Phil and himself several times over in the film, each time to his dismay, waking up again at the beginning of the day. So, yeah, it's pretty rugged, but obviously towards the conclusion of the movie, he realizes that there's so much good he can do in a single day if he really applies his mind to it. Feeding the homeless, helping a kid who's fallen out of a tree, helping some lady who lost her paycheck, a guy that was choking. And he manages to figure out how to have the perfect day and to save all these people a bunch of hassle, some people even their lives.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I remember being a kid watching this movie and thinking, like, this guy was like a superhero. He lived this day over and over and over. He couldn't die. And, he could help people. And I was like, that's so cool. I loved that concept, man. What'd you think of that, Flick, Senor Bull?
It was really great. I love Bill Murray movies, obviously Ghostbusters, the classic Stripes. What about Bob? I know it's not one of your favorites, but I know me and Party Man Will just love that flick. Speaking of which, man, I got you, babe. You guys got it, man. We got Terry D. We got Ben in the house. We got Party Man Will throwing it down in the comments, man. Thank you, guys. Give them some love for that, El
Absolutely,
Bandito.
guys. There you go.
But just like that, man, yeah, definitely a lot of love for Bill Murray in this movie. It was just very different for the time. It's like when I first saw this movie, I hadn't seen some of the other media that had used this, plot device. But like you said, this really kind of, stamped it in as like, being like, oh, it's Groundhog Day,
Absolutely. It got a trope named after itself, like we said earlier, but we were surprised to find that a lot of older movies had actually kind of come close to this premise. I mean, obviously there's the old Rip Van Winkle stories of time travel, Kid in King Arthur's Court, stuff like that, but they actually made feature films that were a lot closer to the Groundhog's Day premise, almost the building blocks for it. So let's take a look at some of those movies right now.
Oh, big ups, man. We got the amazing Brando in the house tonight.
Oh, man.
If you guys like that theme song that you heard at the beginning, definitely go check out some more of the amazing Brando stuff. Love you, man.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for checking in.
Awesome. But yes, like we were saying, we got some movies here for you guys. And the first one here is Turn Back the Clock. This one goes all the way back to 1933.
Ooh. Man.
Yeah, so it definitely, like we said, these aren't the exact premise to Groundhog's Day, but you can kind of almost like look at them like a progenitor. In this movie, a man is hit by a car, which he is then sent 20 years into the past, and he has to kind of like relive his life. He changes a few things, but the movie, pretty much climaxes at that same moment where, he's got to make the choice. Does he kind of continue on, like try a different path, or does he, restart again? So won't spoil for you guys if you do try to go check it out, but it's definitely a very interesting storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering when it was written too, but definitely, that one loop around is pretty wild. I mean, I can't imagine trying to remember and relive 20 years. I mean, if you asked me to do the same thing I did 20 days ago, I'd probably screw it up.
Like you said, the Groundhog's Day loop is definitely like within like a 24 to 36 hour pattern.
Yeah.
I think they said. So it's a continuous loop. So this one was more of like one loop,
Yeah.
So a little different, but kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah, in the same ballpark. But next up, we're going to jump all the way to 1947 with Repeat Performance. Why don't you tell them a little bit about this one?
Oh, man. Well, this one's kind of wild because the opening scene opens up with a woman standing over the body of her, former husband. Yeah. So she had murdered her husband, And, I guess in those moments following, it's definitely a crime, noir kind of film, definitely popular in the 30s and 40s. But she wishes that she could go back and just change stuff. So she actually goes back 1 year in time, and then she goes about, trying to change the events so that, she inevitably doesn't kill her husband.
Yeah.
And it definitely also, climaxes at the that same moment, but the way that this one turns out is pretty wild. It kind of goes almost with that time machine level thing of, sometimes things are just meant to be. You can't change things. So
yeah, exactly. The kind of time loop where you never end up changing the future.
Yes, yeah. No matter how hard you try. Oh man, we got Justin K. We got Kelly Jade in the house. How you guys doing
what's
today?
up?
Awesome.
Thank you guys for checking in. We're talking about Groundhog's Day and time loops.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us. We're checking them out. We're jumping ahead now quite a bit from 1947 to 2011.
Oh, here you go. A movie you guys might have actually have seen.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we got this flick here that to me was very reminiscent of Groundhog's Day, but in a sort of really wild-ass way. We're checking out, not Edge of Tomorrow. We're getting there. We're checking out Source Code.
Oh, man. Okay, what's funny is I remember seeing the trailer for this, but I've never actually caught this flick. Have you seen it before?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
As far as time travel stuff goes, I'm a super fan. Like, I pretty much get my hands on everything time travel-y. So when I saw this, I was like, I definitely want to check it out. Now, the one caveat to this film is the fact that it takes place in a sort of alternate reality. Because what they're saying is the source code is kind of the memories of a person, and they implant them into someone's brain, and then they can relive those moments, like the final moments of someone's life. So the idea in the movie is that Jake Gyllenhaal is being like sent into someone else's memory, into their body, but to him, he feels like he's himself, but in this other guy's body in a particular situation where he's on a train that in 8 minutes is going to completely crash and kill like 1,000 people.
Oh, man. Okay. So
but they don't know what happened. So, like, they're sending him back to try to figure it out. And here's the wild thing, right? Through the course of the movie, you start to get the impression that, like, Jake Gyllenhaal's not actually supposed to stop anything.
Oh, okay.
And the people are telling him, you're reliving a memory, dude. Like, you can change stuff that happened because, like, the computer is keeping up with this simulation. And they're like, but ultimately, we just want to know who committed the crime. How the train got blown up and derailed. And then you got to come back. But
so they're almost like time detectives in that way.
Yeah,
figure it out. Okay.
But Jake Gyllenhaal's like, dude, I can stop this. I can save these people. And he's not quite getting, what's going on because he's like the first person that's ever done this.
Now, I can see this almost being like a video game, Like
dude, it's a wicked cool flick. I have to say, I thought it was super good. If you guys hadn't seen it out there, go check it out. It's got some great action, great sequences with this train derailing and getting destroyed, and a really great sci-fi premise, man. I really would recommend it.
Awesome. If you guys have seen Source Code, throw down in the comments what you think, man. Throw down some of your suggestions. I see Justin K down here. He's saying, I appreciate all the show prep that you guys have done for this one. Well, guess what, man? We got our full hour. We know Justin K is a big fan of the show, man, but we got awesome stuff coming for you guys. So stick around and keep commenting, man.
Absolutely. Well, next up, you guys saw it. We're going to jump to Edge of Tomorrow. Now, Edge of Tomorrow, man, now this is what I'm kicking myself in the butt because I haven't seen this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I love Emily Blunt. I love Tom Cruise, and I love time travel stuff. This is the perfect recipe of a movie for me to see, and I haven't been able to get my hands on it. So I'm a little bit bummed. I do know the premise is almost exactly like Groundhog's Day, except the one difference here is that apparently when Tom Cruise gets killed, it restarts the loop.
Oh, so it's just one particular person?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
There you go. Okay, so we're kind of just flying by to see. If you guys have seen it, let us know in the comments, man. What if this is definitely in that same vein as the Groundhog's Day loop.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how it goes or how Emily Blunt's involved or if he's trying to talk to her or what. Like I said, I hadn't seen the movie. But I had heard that it's Tom Cruise dying that resets the loop every time. So
okay.
Should be pretty freaking cool. I'm going to get my hands on it. I'll give you guys an update in a few weeks.
And when did that one come out?
That one came out in 2014.
So as you guys see, you got Source Code in 2011, and then this one came out in 2014. We're seeing this trope kind of repeated quite often, at least in the world of film.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's the kind of thing that just loops around every couple of years.
Yeah. What's next, man?
All right, next up, we got one that you guys know we seen, man.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor Strange.
If you guys haven't seen this yet, definitely you got to check it out.
Yeah, we might throw out a couple spoilers here and there for these shows and movies, so forgive us. Take it for what it is. Most of this stuff is fairly old, but the next couple are going to be fairly recent. So we'll try not to spoil anything for them. But Doctor Strange, obviously, man, with as big as Infinity War is, I think a lot of people have got their hands on it. To give you the spoiler-free impression of it, he's able to use a magic device that does let him reset time, almost like the time turner from Harry Potter, which we weren't going to mention because we're not fans. But that time travel is done so bad in that movie, but I don't even want to get into it. But in Doctor Strange, he definitely uses a time loop to kind of protect himself and overcome a challenge from an enemy. So it's really cool. It's, again, only a cycle of about 8 minutes, kind of like Source Code was. So it's not full-on Groundhog's Day, but he's definitely using a time loop as a weapon, which we just thought was a really cool caveat that we had to include on the list.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was funny. Like, actually, a few days ago when we posted up the preview for this episode, one of our fans actually put the term that was used numerously throughout this time loop. So it's really funny. Like you said, we don't want to get too spoiler because it's a major plot point. But yes, Doctor Strange definitely features a very important time loop. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Dude, I got to tell you, Kelly J just threw this comment down here. She says she did see Edge of Tomorrow. The time resets itself every time Tom Cruise jumps on Oprah's couch.
Well, that was definitely a very loopy moment. That's for sure.
I think I have a GIF of that.
Well, actually, Ben C down here also says that it was nothing groundbreaking. It was a fun watch. There is a loop, and Cruise's death does reset it, but there's some other stuff involved in it. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Man.
Thanks for throwing in some info. Out. But, yeah, we'll definitely have to watch that one.
All right, another one that just came out now, 2017, just last year. I'm trying to make the time to sit down and check it, man. Naked.
Oh, man. Here we go. We got Netflix original coming out here.
Absolutely. This is a feature film that Netflix produced. And this guy wakes up in an elevator on his wedding day, and he's butt naked for whatever reason. And he keeps trying to get to his wedding, and I guess he can't make it.
Well, definitely, man. I mean, just by the title, man. I mean, if you guys share the video right now, it's going to see that the Power Hour is talking about naked. So we think that might draw in some more love and stuff like. Because everybody loves being naked, but
they'll talk about being naked.
I know, but who's this? Marlon Wayans, I think it is. That was it. So yeah, him being naked. Obviously, he's got to relive this situation where he's trying to get to his wedding. Same thing. Unfortunately, I don't think either of us has seen the film, but. I know I was looking it up on IMDb and stuff, and it seems like it's pretty favorable. It's comedy, and that seems to kind of be a thing with some of these tropey or time loops. A lot of times it's either action or it's comedy. It kind of goes into those two veins. But I know we got some other stuff on here to really that go into different avenues.
Absolutely. Let's spice it up with a movie we did see and we watched in preparation for this episode tonight. So you're welcome.
Yes.
We took time out of our busy schedule to watch a movie to tell you about it. But this is the first film based on the Groundhog's Day premise that was a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about Happy Death Day.
Yep, definitely. This just came out last year. I think it released on Friday the 13th. So one of the Friday the 13th. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, man, we actually just watched this last night, and I enjoyed it. I had heard a lot of good stuff. I got a lot of, I enjoy horror films. I've got a lot of friends. Of course, we got Justin McPatches. They do Underground Horror Radio. They had given it some praise and stuff. So we were kind of looking forward to see it. So what did you think, Bandito?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's a good, solid movie for a horror movie. It's probably one of the best horror movies I've seen as far as story-wise, because the story was very detailed and had a lot of good twists and turns and things to figure out. And basically, it's the same premise of Groundhog's Day, but this girl gets murdered at the end of every day.
Yes.
And she keeps waking up and getting murdered and waking up and getting murdered. And she's trying to figure out how to get out of that loop, try to figure out who's the killer, if she can stop them, and it's really pretty wild. Great actress that's in it. She's new, so I don't know her name. I'm sorry. I Should have wrote it down. I know I looked it up, but I don't remember. But she's fantastic. The movie's really well produced. It's made by the people who made The Purge and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's really cool. Very good watch. The one thing I would say is I think they kind of rushed it a little bit, kind of towards the middle end part of it, like the third act, because like Groundhog's Day really, the original 93 movie gives you so much depth into what, Bill Murray's character is feeling and how he's kind of coming to grips with like, my life sucks. Is this hell? Is this, some sort of penance that I'm doing? And in Happy Death Day, it kind of just resolves very quickly. And, you do get the sense that the character learned a lesson, but I think they could have given the movie a lot more depth, and it really, really would have been something special.
Well, one thing that definitely surprised me with the film was that it is only rated PG-13. So, I mean, you're not going to get super gory kills and stuff like that. But, man, like, I mean, for the, it's a great horror comedy. Like, it mixes them well. It kind of even gets cutesy in some parts, I would say. Like, I would say even like probably like maybe even a kid at like 10 or 11 or 12 would be able to watch this without too much,
they're not going to be horrified forever, But
so. I would say the best way I've seen it described is it's like, Scream meets Groundhog's Day. Like it has that kind of fun, jovial kind of side to it where you're supposed to kind of laugh at the dark humor, but then at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, whatever. Wow, that character's really creepy. Let's talk about him real quick. The killer. He wears this baby mask and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like their school mascot, is like this weird baby face thing. But I have to say, I love the kind of light part of the movie. Like most of it takes place in the day. So, it's vivid and the cinematography is wonderful. Like they really paid a lot of attention to that. That was probably my favorite part of the movie. One sequence in particular, it's not a spoiler or anything, just one of the instances that this girl gets killed. You'll get to see a dozen of them. The guy actually cracks her in the side of the head with a baseball bat,
Yeah.
And you see her start going down. And as she falls over, the scene just transitions into her hitting her bed and waking right back up the next day. And I was like, that was really slick, man. That was a great transition. So they do a lot of little things like that really give the movie a great polish visually. So it's really definitely a joy to watch.
And just like any other horror movies, like I said, I love them. I know El Bandito's not a huge fan of most horror, but like it's kind of Swiss cheese. Like, it's definitely, if you go into it looking for holes, you're going to find them, and like there's even some stuff that right after the movie, we were like, well, wait, what about this and what about that? Well, supposedly the movie's been so popular that the director's actually taking like, man, he was like, if I could have made this movie 3 hours long, I would have. But he was saying that, maybe he'll do a sequel where it will kind of fill in like why things happened a certain way, or, which I think honestly just leave it as is.
Yeah. It's still solid. It works.
Absolutely.
You're not left there like, oh, what? No, it's everything wraps up, but there are, like I said, just details that they kind of just gloss over that you're like, well, okay. It kind of ends up being like the end of Star Trek First Contact, which is a great example because that's a time travel movie.
Yep.
And you remember at the end of it, they're stuck in the past, and Captain Picard walks onto the bridge, and Geordi just looks at him, and he's like, hey, I was able to match the temporal sequence of the Borg ship. And Captain Picard's like, great. And he's like, we'll be able to get back in time in no time. He's like, all right, cool. And you're like, how the hell can they just do that all of a sudden? Like that didn't take any explaining or more depth into whatever.
Absolutely. All in all, it's a movie. But man, it's super exciting. We've covered a lot of movies here that kind of deal with the, Groundhog's Day time loop. But man, there's a bunch of TV shows, a bunch of video games that also deal with the very similar loop process, and we're going to get into them real soon.
Absolutely. But for right now, what do you say we take a break? We jump into some PoDunk news.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
PoDunk News.
Waka waka.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil, and this is
El Bandito.
Awesome, man. How are you doing tonight, El Bandito?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's been a great day leading up to this Groundhog's Day, and
Oh, man, and come to think of it, man, here we are in the newsroom, man. It's time for us to get to some PoDunk news, man.
Let's do it, man. No horsing around.
If you guys, we said we were going to do it at least once, guys. We thought I might get a chuckle out of the guys that have been here since the beginning of the show. But yes, starting off PoDunk news, man, we got to talk about stuff that's going on in the crazy world of PoDunk. What's better to start it off than to talk about that crazy game where people run into each other constantly and throw a ball back and forth from the field, and then some like random celebrity from like 10 years ago gets to take up 20 minutes of your time. But yes, we're talking about the Super Bowl. But man,
talk about a time loop that doesn't seem to go away. Every year this shows up, and I'm just like, I don't know why everybody's watching this and why I can't freaking order a pizza today. That pisses me off. 3.5 hours they said for me to get a pizza. I had to go to Chipotle. Not that I got a problem with Chipotle. I love Chipotle. If they want to sponsor the show, hit me up. That's great. We have a huge fan base. Look, there's like 8 people in here right now commenting. They could all be enjoying your Chipotle.
You know it, man. Well, just like how Pepsi sponsors that Super Bowl halftime show every year, like he said, hit us up, man. But yes, we do got to talk about that. The Eagles, Pennsylvania, up there in Philadelphia, man, they took home their first Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I can't believe that's the first time they ever won. I mean, I'm surprised by that because I always think of them as like a really good team.
Sure.
But, I don't follow sports. What do I know?
I love this Ben C down here. I know he's a very avid Patriots fan. He's like, you guys don't have to talk about that game. Well, we just wanted to mention it real quick because it definitely belongs here in PoDunk news. Not just so much about the game and how it all, played out and stuff, because we watched maybe 10 minutes of it. We're like, we're going to go watch Happy Death Day. But we got to talk about what transpired afterwards in Philadelphia. Now, they won.
Yeah.
And then they still proceeded to practically burn their town to the ground.
Absolutely. They went full on soccer rage.
I mean, climbing poles, knocking down, stoplights. I saw a video where a guy's literally like, he's up there like shaking it. He looked like a wild animal or something. I'm just shaking the light. You know how big those things are, right? And he's up there shaking it, and the light actually kind of detached. Now he didn't. I mean, the dude could have fallen to his death. Luckily, I think then he realized, I better get the hell off this thing. But one other video I want. There was an Eagles fan who actually got down and started to consume some horse feces, dung. That's like, in the city they have like the horses that walk around with the carriages. I mean, he's a fan. I mean, I would have thought maybe they're going to try to make like a Patriots fan or someone do that. But no, this is a fan of the winning team.
Hey, dude, it's some turd burglar out there just having the time of his life, man. Whatever. If that's how you want to celebrate, you can tell we picked an unbiased photo to show,
sure.
Our appreciation for all the fine athletes who play the game and to all the great Philadelphians who don't beat us up. That's great.
Absolutely. We're totally a fan of watching you guys do crazy shit that we get to add on to PoDunk news.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is
do it to yourselves.
There was even like
that.
There was even a notice, remember, that the NFL said, like, do not show any photos, do not talk about the game unless you're affiliated with the NFL. So guess what? We're not going to do that. But we do see Justin K saying that the best Super Bowl was at El Bandito's house when Janet had her nip slip. I agree.
Absolutely, man. That was pretty wicked, bro. Although I have to say that ruined freaking radio for a super long time. You remember the Love Doctors couldn't say anything even remotely sexual after that? You're like, what? That was pretty lame. But
well, it looks like it's starting to erupt a little bit of a comment war here. So we're going to move past the actual
City
game.
of brotherly love, man. Where's the love?
Well, there's definitely fans of both sides on here. And we're not here, we are definitely not a sports show.
Yeah.
Granted, we just talked about pro wrestling last week for like an hour and a half, but pro wrestling.
That's entertainment. Sports entertainment.
Absolutely, man. So let's get on to the fun part of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Look, Brie Laurie just joined in.
Oh, yeah.
She missed all the football stuff. I'm sorry. I know you're a fan. It's gone. That's it. We're talking about commercials now.
Woo, man. This, I remember even being a kid and being like, this was like the thing that I looked forward to.
Yeah.
Do you want to know which commercial or which company had the most commercials this year?
Oh, I bet I could guess. Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Who wants to guess in the comments with me? I'll name 4 things, and you can post whatever your guess is while I'm guessing my 4. So I'll give you a little bit of time. I'm going to guess Verizon. I'm going to guess Bud Light. I'm going to guess iPhone because, God, they won't get off my Hulu. And I'm going to guess Pornhub.
Now, if they were on there, I could see, they'd have some.
I get ads for them on my phone all the time. I have no idea why. I no idea. Never go there.
Likely story. Well, we already man, people are blowing it up, man. I love it, man. They got it. Tide has had the most commercials. Almost every break there was a Tide commercial, and I posted I think what was a pretty funny meme earlier today that said, with all the money that they're making off these people eating the Tide Pods, that's how they had the money to pay for these commercials.
Dude, I believe it. Join us next week for our 3-year anniversary show where we're going to have a guest in studio eat Tide Pods. No. But look at that. Bree shouting out Michelob for Star-Lord. Those are epic commercials with him. I absolutely love that. The only reason I guess Bud Light was because of the Bud Light Night commercials.
Was cool. That was
Dude, those things kill me. I see them all the time on Hulu. They're all over Hulu, and I love that, man. The guy just, in his suit looks like it's made of the cans. It's good stuff. I'm a fantasy nerd. I'm sorry.
Well, and another thing that came out was this Doritos commercial. Peter Dinklage in full on Tyrion Lannister attire doing a rap, and then it follows up with Morgan Freeman doing a rap about Mountain Dew. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's funny. It's like people that's gonna get people talking. Plus, we all know that Game of Thrones is the Song of Fire and Ice. Mm-hmm. So Tyrion's over there rapping about these hot Doritos, and Morgan's rapping about this cool Mountain Dew that came out. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I wonder if that's like a little bit of a spoiler or a tease. Morgan Freeman's going to be in the last season of Game of Thrones.
Bree down here just said, is this a Tide ad? Hey, listen, if Tide wants to give us a sponsorship,
we'll eat all the things they want. We don't care. Whatever they want us to do.
Well, man,
they don't want us to eat them. They don't want us to eat them. Okay, sorry.
But also, we got to see a lot of cool trailers for last night.
Yeah.
While we talk about some of the ones we saw, man, what do we got over here? We got Solo.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I think I was in the bathroom.
Oh, I did catch it. It was a minute long, which was surprising for, being a,
How many people were in the trailer?
Like, what do you mean? Like, how many different scenes?
I keep thinking this movie's about one person.
Well, we saw the guy who's playing Lando.
Okay.
We saw, a behind shot, like from his back, showing, him talking to somebody from, the Imperial forces, like trying to get a job. But the very last scene that says, what's your name? And you see the actor's face, and he doesn't even get to say anything, but then the word Solo popped up. It was cool. It looked neat. It's like, cool. I think a more full trailer is going to be more exciting, but it definitely, I think, piqued people's interest to be like,
we'll put a link up here later in one of the YouTube cards or something for our Star Wars The Last Jedi review that we just did a couple weeks ago. If you guys haven't checked it out, head over to YouTube, check it out there, man. Throw us a like and subscribe. That'd be super awesome. But yeah, man, I'm really not interested in what's going on with Star Wars, man. That last movie was so bad. I feel like it punched me in the gut, and I've seen a couple of reviews and people talking about Solo, and I'm just not excited, man.
Being that it's like a prequel film, I've got a little more faith in it because I did like.
Why? The other prequels were so good?
Well, no, not that level. I'm talking.
You mean
about
like Rogue One?
Rogue One, yeah.
Okay.
We're not prequel in this, earlier, between those two times. But either way, enough about Solo. There was a lot of other cool stuff. Jurassic World Part 2 or Fallen Kingdom that showed some more. Mm-hmm. The one thing I could say about that one is like, you get the idea that they're going to take the dinosaurs off the island again.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out so good for the other movies. So I'm kind of like,
I know a lot of people didn't like The Lost World. I thought that was awesome. I definitely want to see dinosaurs just eating up a city, dropping the 76 ball and wrecking shop. There's no more 76 gas stations nowadays.
Oh, there you
I
go.
miss
Yeah.
that.
Well, like you said, it definitely, I enjoyed Jurassic World as well. So we'll have to see where it comes. Another new movie that's coming out, it's called Skyscraper. The Rock is in another disaster film. But this
it's not Rampage?
That one too.
Wow, man.
But this one's about
just churning out movies, bro.
It's like the tallest building in the world.
Okay.
And I guess for some reason he's like a designer to come and try to evaluate it, and they don't even listen to him. But I guess his family gets to stay on one of the floors of this building. Of course, 100 floors below, there's a disaster, and now he has to figure out how to save them.
Okay.
Like I said, this sounds just like that. What was that? San Andreas, or it just seems in that
sounds like Die Hard.
But yeah, once again, The Rock's gonna have more disaster movies this year.
Hey, it's all good. Of course, they released a new trailer for Infinity War that I purposely didn't watch because I like going in fresh. I got my trailer already. I'm sure I'll bump into it eventually. A couple weeks ago, they had the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp came out.
Oh yeah,
if you haven't seen that, take a minute, we understand, after the show to go and watch that, not now. But that was really cool. The other trailer that I saw that I was pretty excited about was that they announced that Cloverfield, the Cloverfield Paradox, which was originally titled The God Particle to try to cover it up and stuff like that, isn't actually going to be released in the theaters April 20th. It is available on Netflix right now. And it was available as soon as the Super Bowl ended, and I was pretty surprised by that. I thought the name was great and going to work out good for the show. Didn't have any time travel stuff in it, so I didn't watch it, you know. But that's pretty cool that they actually released, you know, like I guess Netflix kind of bought the rights to release it on Netflix instead of in the theater, and I'm blown away by that, you know. And last but not least, Mission Impossible 6. You know, we talked about Tom Cruise a little bit earlier, man, and just he's kind of the forerunner of that production studio that makes the Mission Impossible movies. So, man, as long as he wants to make them, they ain't going away. And
you know it, man.
You know, Simon Pegg's in there, so I kind of dig the last couple. They were fun, a little more Mission Impossible-y now that he has a team and stuff. So we'll see what happens here.
Well, that's about it for the Super Bowl ads and trailers. But, man, we actually have some PoDunk news for you guys. I know we get a lot of, you know, cool messages and stuff that people enjoy when we tell you about the crazy stories that are going on out there. So we're going to hit a couple of these real quick before we get back into our time loop discussion.
Absolutely. Let's see what we got.
Oh, man. Talk about Philadelphia. You know, before things really started hitting the fan, native Philadelphian Molly Schuler won her third wing bowl by consuming 501 chicken wings.
501 chicken wings.
I think you could beat that one, El Bandito.
Wow, man.
I mean, I know
in 30 minutes, though.
Yes, that's the one. But we've consumed some real killer wings, man. I'm telling you.
I think I did that on my 21st birthday.
You did?
Yeah, Justin K might remember because he was there, but I don't know if he stuck around long enough, or I know we had some other friends who passed out in bushes. Maybe he was helping. But, yeah, I remember Party Man Will was there, and I was super hammered, and I ate like a dump truck, dude. I must have ate like 2 quarts of rice. It was insane, like Chinese fried rice. But, yeah, we had ordered this giant thing of chicken wings, and I was wrecking them, man. But I can't imagine eating 501 wings and looking like this chick. You know? I mean, we can't really see her face in the picture, but she's all right.
Totally, man. Well, here's a real crazy thing. You know, you hear, you know, wing bowl, you know. Apparently, it drew close to 20,000 people for the attendance. It was held at the Wells Fargo Center, and to watch, you know, people came to watch, you know, this girl beat her record, which was previously 444 wings.
Oh my gosh! So she does this on the reg. That's awesome, man.
You know, wasn't there that guy on the Food Network that would always go around and eat crazy shit?
Yeah, his name was Adam something.
Yeah, they shut his ass down. Like, I think
he shut his own ass down, man. Eating that stuff. He had a heart attack or something. And they were like, bro, you can't be eating that junk no more.
You see him now, he's like, you know, 80 pounds lighter, and he's like hosting like wine.
Yeah.
You know?
That guy's a riot, though. I like him, man.
He is
They need to give him another show. I'd watch it.
All right, what's up next?
What's up next? What do we got?
Oh,
like a robot or something here you got. What is this?
We know we got a lot of coffee fans out there, man. Well, here, check this out. A robot now prepares coffee in downtown Tokyo in a cafe down there. So what it is that, you know, you go up and you order your coffee with this robot, which his face almost looks kind of like an iPad.
Yeah, right.
You know? But
it's the human-centered iPad.
It costs 320 yen, which equates to about $3 a cup per cup of coffee.
Okay.
And what the robot says is, would you care for a delicious coffee? I can make one better than any human being around here. Pretty bold statement, robot. But
notice how he's not in Venezuela.
You know it, man. He's in Tokyo. But man, when I read this story, man, you know what really came to mind?
That Japanese people don't know nothing about coffee? What are they boasting?
Well, no, man. It makes me think of that robot in Fallout 4. You know, the noodle robot guy? That's Terashaki or whatever. He's like, oh, no. He makes your noodles.
Did you ever find that one that, like, you can bring home with you?
No.
And he, like, makes stuff around your house? Yeah, you have to find tapes, and he'll, like, make you beverages like that beer. What's that beer they're drinking out there?
Oh, man. Hey, I know Party Man Will's in the room right now.
Yeah, right.
Hit that up, man.
Where you at?
What's the Fallout beer?
I know it's not the Sunset Sarsaparilla. I think it was like a beer or something he would make. I don't remember.
Oh, here's just in case programmed for your pleasure. That'll be the next thing.
I don't know. Hands like that. This guy might be something else, man.
But definitely, yeah, this robot over here will now make you a cup of coffee.
I know it does have kind of that little curved area in between his tongs there. I guess for holding cups.
Oh, he said Gwendolyn Stout, I guess is.
Oh, okay. There you go. Gwyneth.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Party Man.
Yeah, we knew we could count on you for any of our Fallout lore.
You know, it's so funny. We were talking about it a few minutes ago, and now here we see this chick who's eating a ton of food and this robot that like does menial tasks. And I'm thinking back to what I said about those Pornhub ads.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. There you go. This is what we're moving on to.
Well, of course, we talked about something that's going on up there in Pennsylvania. We talked about something in Tokyo, Japan. We're going to give you guys a guess. Where do you think this took place?
Could it be Georgia, Alabama, or Florida?
All right. It's happening in Florida. Actually, back in July of 2017, a Florida man stripped naked after robbing a bank, and he was throwing the money in the air, has been found not guilty.
Of doing that
Yes.
stuff? Or?
Yeah. By means of insanity.
Okay. I was going to say, they have a photo. How'd they not be like, that's the guy?
He will remain in jail while receiving mental health treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea. Apparently the man reported that a chip in his head told him to rob the bank so that he would be able to pursue a career as a comedian.
It's funny. I'll give him that. It's funny.
Oh, look at this. Mr. Fusion's in the room. He goes, did this happen in PSL? It wouldn't surprise me, my good friend. But
No,
actually, it was some other location in Florida, but I'm sure it was in the South,
Well, I have to say, it's, that whole insanity plea thing, on occasion, maybe you can pull it off, but this guy had the right idea, I mean, no one's looking at this guy like, he probably knew what he was doing.
Well, definitely, we were talking about Naked earlier, the movie. Well, that guy was living naked.
He was naked.
All right, man. So we're ready to jump back into some time loop?
Why not, man? Let's jump back in the studio and let's see what's shaking. You know what? Let's go somewhere special. No, we can't go somewhere special.
Oh, why not, man? This is a special episode. It's right before our anniversary.
I was going to say we should jump over to the video game zone, but we really can't. But you know what we can do?
What's that?
We can use the video game zone transition. How about that?
Let's do it.
That'll at least look pretty cute.
Let's see it. Here you guys go.
Video Game Zone.
Mario time.
And I wanted to play my music too. Cool.
There you go, man. That was awesome, man. Well, definitely that gives you guys a little sneak peek of what we might have in store for you in the future. But, man, now we're going to dive in to some video games that deal with those great Groundhog's Day-like loops that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely, guys. I was hella surprised when Senior Bull started bringing up some of these different games, and it sparked my memory about a couple different games as well. So we were like, man, this is pretty cool. We're definitely going to have to talk about some of these games and just remind people of not only past games that had this sort of trope in it, but also future games that are pretty much going to nail it right on the head. So let's get it started with a heck of a throwback right here. We're talking Final Fantasy 1987.
Oh, man, yeah, you're talking about the original gangster right here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we got a lot of gamers in the comments here, and we know that, there's been numerous games that kind of do deal with time and stuff with the Final Fantasy genre. But, man, this original story has a really cool time loop in it, at least from a storytelling perspective. You want me to dive into this one, El
Absolutely,
Bandito?
dude. You do it.
All right, man. I'm sure you guys all remember back in the day, either picking this one up or renting it, on the NES. And, man, it was crazy because, you were kind of like, wow, this is really cool. It was pretty hard, too, until you really figured it out or you had a buddy to tell you what was up. But, man, what I think everybody remembers is going to that castle, try to rescue the princess. And, the once good knight Garland has now, become bad, and he kidnapped the princess. So, effectively, as you're going through, you're fighting some goblins and stuff. But really, Garland is like the first boss, and you know how it is anytime in a game. The first boss is your weakest, So you pretty much school Garland. You got a couple levels up on your way over there, and you beat his ass and you rescue the princess. But he like disappears like into at the time you don't know what, Then after 20, 30 hours worth of gameplay, towards the end of the game, you meet up with this guy, Chaos. And you soon learn that Garland actually escaped into a time loop, and he's been there pretty much honing his skills and becoming more and more of a badass.
Yeah.
And he's become Chaos here. Oh, there's Garland originally,
And that's what I love. Like, this guy needed to be more badass.
Well, absolutely. It's Final Fantasy, so of course the swords have to be like incredibly massive. But yeah.
I mean, demon wings and horns definitely upgrade, I suppose.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, I know a lot of people, are like, I beat Final Fantasy, but let's be honest. Did you beat it with like the game Genie? Because it was definitely pretty long. And I mean, if you said you beat it without a guide, I mean, we're probably just gonna say you're lying. But definitely,
I don't think I've ever beaten a Final Fantasy ever. Like I usually get about 100 hours in. I'm like, oh, this is enough of this already.
it does definitely wear a little thin and a lot. But man, being that this was the first. I will definitely say that I did play it to the end with some assistance, from that good old GG. But man, and of course, a guide. And actually, I saw my buddy Terry D in here earlier. I know we used to rock this one out a lot on the old Nintendo. But yeah, it's just cool that Garland actually escaped into a time loop to become more evil and badass. So kind of cool,
Absolutely, man. And if we're going to talk about time travel stuff and people in loops and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, we can't skip out on Chrono Trigger, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, I know we're kind of like, Japanese, RPGs, definitely use this a lot. But yeah, man, Chrono Trigger, I mean, this game is all about time travel, and quite a few different time loops and paradoxes pop up throughout the course of the game. Why don't you tell them how many endings this game has, Bandito?
You're lucky if you find one of their 13 different possible endings to the game. Pretty cool stuff, man, to think that kind of planning goes into an RPG game where, even at the time, you were still getting a pretty decent amount of choices.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like NES days where, I got a warp pipe that totally derailed what this guy was doing. No, they had pretty complicated things that were going to happen and lead you to these different endings. So it was really, really pretty ambitious and pretty awesome, and it came together well. It was a good game.
Absolutely, man. And, it was 1995. This was on the Super Nintendo. If you guys, if you look at this art and you're kind of like, man, that looks really familiar, the artist who is famously known for doing like Dragon Ball Z, also did the artwork for Chrono Trigger. So that's where the familiarity kind of comes through. But like we said, from the storyline, man, I mean, you want to talk about a game that deals great time travel and cool stuff where you alter different things, plant things here, go in the future and exchange stuff. This game, for its time, like you said, with its limited amount that it could have, it was a very complex game.
Absolutely, man. Hey, look at that. Brian E. just jumped in to say, what's up? What's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in and checking out the show. We're talking about time loops and all sorts of different stuff. So stick around. You're going to have some fun, especially in our next segment when we talk about TV shows. I know you've seen a couple of them, man. So stick around. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Well, here, let's move on to a game that hasn't come out yet, but you guys would be very interested in.
Yeah, man. This got me super stoked. This is called Escape the Loop.
It's not just a clever name.
When we checked out the trailer for this game, man, I got really excited because this is definitely the most Groundhog's Day-esque game ever released. Its announced date is still to be determined. They haven't put an official stamp on it because it is an independent game and it's constantly being developed. They put out a notification saying that they're kind of redoing a lot of animations and artwork in it. Because they got such an outpouring from the community and such an influx of money that they're trying to make the game even better right now.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still waiting for this release date, but the trailer for it's pretty epic, man, where you wake up every day and you have 5 minutes of game time to learn everything you can about why you're stuck in the loop. And you have to figure out how to get out of the loop yourself as the player. Now, when the 5 minutes is up, you restart. You wake up again as the player, and you have 5 minutes again to try to learn whatever you can. But the coolest thing about it is that, unlike the Groundhog Day mechanic, the game randomizes all of the actions of the other characters in the game. So you're not playing through the exact same scenario over and over. It's a slightly different every time. Things are in different places. People are in different places. But all the clues are still always there. They're just randomized. And you have to keep running through the loop again and again, trying to find all the pieces that you need to be able to beat the game and escape the loop. Sounds really cool. What do you think of that, man?
Oh, man, like you said, when I watched the trailer for this, it's so, like, mysterious and kind of like you said, I think even at one point you hear the alarm clock going off, so you're like, oh, man, there's Groundhog's Day right there.
Yep.
But just the different things, man. After the show tonight, if you guys jump on over to YouTube, definitely watch the trailer for Escape the Loop. Like we said, I think once it comes out, and like I said, I think right now, I think its main platform is PC, but I'm sure this is going to make its way to the consoles as well. So I'm super stoked to check it out.
Absolutely, man. And last but not least, I wanted to throw out one honorable mention, so to speak, for this game. I think it was called Quantum Gravity or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It came out on the Xbox One a little bit ago. I remember when it first came out, I wanted to get this game so bad. And it was basically, the concept was that you played as a guy who had control over time, where you could slow something down and replay it and reset it. And I'm not sure how much of that was actually gameplay and how much was just the cinematics of the game. But, dude, it took forever to release, and I kind of forgot about it, never got back to it. But if anyone's played it and checked it out, please leave me a comment, because I'd love to know about it and know if it's worth getting, man, because it sounds pretty wicked. Maybe I'll just grab it and do a Twitch stream on it or something. But if you know, shoot me a message. Shoot me a comment. Let me know.
Was it
Thank
Quantum Protocol or no?
No, I don't think. I think it was called. Oh, I don't think it was Quantum Gravity. That might have been a book I read.
Like I said, I know what you're referring to. It was is being put out by the same guys who did like Alan Wake and the
I think it was like the Mirror's Edge people or something like that. I don't know.
But very cool game. I mean, like I said, I haven't heard much, so who knows? It might not even be out yet.
No, that one's definitely out. I know it came out because it was a long time ago that I remember seeing the trailer and being upset that I waited like a year for it and it like never showed up. But anyways, I should have done some more research on that, but it just popped into my head and I was like, oh, I remember that. So just throwing out some info for you guys.
Mr. Fusion threw out Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, classic Zelda games. Absolutely, man. Definitely they do deal heavily with the time travel trope. I don't know if you could say it really kind of goes in with the, the Groundhog Day, kind of thing. Maybe there's like an event or something. I don't really remember.
I know Ben's calling out Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time.
Oh,
that was definitely a game where you could replay the last few seconds and stuff like that. I mean, even South Park, The Fractured Butthole, that's out right now. You get time farts where you can actually change, you can pause gameplay, rewind time and stuff like that. And I love that aspect of it. I think it's super great. So yeah, not full on loops, but enough effect on time to really add a whole new level of gameplay to stuff. So I'm really digging it.
Absolutely, man. Like I say, there's a lot of cool games out there that deal with time travel. Yeah. But like we were saying earlier, man, if you guys are looking for something that hasn't come out yet, definitely check out this Escape the Loop, because I think it's going to be pretty killer.
Absolutely, guys. All right, we're going to jump into some more news real quick. That segment ended up being a little short, but hey, that's all right. We might actually get out of here within the hour. Probably not. It's like 50 minutes now.
Hey, man, people are still rocking and rolling with us, so yeah.
Man, if you guys are having fun, let's keep doing it. But we're going to give you guys a little bit more info with some cool news coming up right now.
PoDunk News.
All right, man. Like we said earlier, if you guys are fans of the stuff, the crazy news that's going on out there in the world right now, we got all the cool stuff for you here on PoDunk News. And we like to kind of use this time as like an area to kind of like go into some of the crazy like video game news that's happening. And while this first story is a little sad, it's also really cool because we know you guys are going to recognize some of this amazing box art.
Absolutely, man.
Well, definitely, man. If you guys don't recognize one of these covers here, you might be a little on the younger side, but man, we got Ninja Gaiden, Contra, and Batman, which was released on back on the PC Commodore 64 style. The reason we're talking about these box arts this week is that classic video game box art artist Bob Wakelin passed away last month. Sad story, definitely, but man, he actually did all the art for this for these collections here. And I'm sure many more games that were not as classic as these ones. Like, at least
that's iconic. Yeah.
But absolutely.
I mean, dude, the sea has made its rounds. Why don't you show them how far that sea got?
There you guys go.
There's your Contra sea right there, man.
So I definitely probably owe Bob Wakeland a little bit of money on that one, but no, absolutely, man. It was so so iconic. I could definitely say about Contra. Me and my cousin Fred, man, we would play this one for hours. While guys were punching in the Konami code to get 30 lives, like we were putting in Game Genie so that we only got one, and we would try to beat it. And I'm telling you, we got to the final boss, and we both got killed, but.
Man, that's still a hell of a run. Jeez.
Hell yeah, dude, without dying once. That's how much we knew the game. I mean, classic stuff, Super C, Ninja Gaiden, too. I know Fred was a huge fan of, so if he was on here tonight, he'd be blowing it up. But definitely, man, rest in peace, Bob Wakeland. Like I said, he created a lot of awesome art.
Absolutely. We're going to show him some love.
But we got some cool news for you guys now, video game related. Oh, we know this is a favorite of ours, and a lot of our listeners and stuff dig in this game and play. Definitely, if you do rock out Friday the 13th, the game, put in the comments where you guys play. We can all rock out together. But we got good news for this one. Why don't you tell them what's up, El Bandito?
They have released a brand new Jason. That's right. We got Part 5 Jason. And a whole brand new map. I didn't catch what map it was, though. Tell them what the map is.
The map is Pinehurst, which is the location in the Part 5 movie, so they definitely tie together.
Yeah. Man, it's been a while since I jumped on the game. I feel bad. I know I talked to Justin K, and I was like, dude, let's get on there and play. And then, I'm never showed up there. I actually got a message on my Steam account from someone I used to play with on there, Jeebus, and she's all like, bro, where you at? You haven't been on here in 2 months. And she's like, we just got new stuff. Get over here. So I'm like, oh, man. So I'm going to have to get on there maybe this weekend or next weekend or something.
Well, man, if you're feeling a little out of practice, man, I have jumped on there recently. And, they have the new offline bots thing where you can go in there and play as even the new Jason. And, you get to kind of see what some of his new kills are, kind of see what his abilities kind of range with. But, man, really cool. We don't want to spoil too much about where this Jason comes from, but he's got some different tweaks, for how he activates and stuff like that. But lots of fun, great additions. Gun Media, those, and Elphonic, man, they're doing just such a great job. The one thing that's cool about this, completely free, download. So
if you own the game, you get the stuff.
Hell yeah.
Can't beat it, man.
And if you guys got the virtual cabin, 2 months ago and played through it. This is a little spoilerific, but we're giving you guys 2 months. But they have announced that we will get the Grendel Space Station map and Jason X.
That's my favorite, man. From day one, I'm like, I want to play Jason X just because he looks cute. And that was the first Jason movie I ever saw. I went to the theater to see that. I literally couldn't tell you one scene in that movie. I thought it was so dumb. When I saw it, I don't remember a thing. About it, but I'll never forget going to see it.
I just hope they have that holodeck type scene where you can kind of trick Jason into thinking you're over here, but you're not, But yeah, man, people are definitely they're throwing in the comments their love. We're seeing some people put their screen names. That's awesome, man. We're so glad you guys are digging it.
Absolutely.
I saw Party Man Will say, put Jason X in there already. Well, he's coming, man.
There you go.
Probably sometime between now and the summer, man. We're definitely be diving in and playing as that Uber Jason from Jason X.
Absolutely, man. And you guys can find us. I'm D3 Chavez. He's just Charboil everywhere, man. He's so lucky. No one else has that screen name. So he's Charboil over on Xbox Live and on Steam. I'm D, as in David, 3, the word Chavez, both on Steam and on Xbox Live. If you guys want to shoot us a friend request, man, we'll definitely get online, play some games with you. If you guys haven't already checked out our playthrough and review of Friday the 13th, again, we'll throw a little card or something up here to link over to that video on YouTube, or you guys can head over to YouTube, check it out. We do a great review of the game. If you haven't tried it out, you haven't played it before, it's going to tell you all the awesome stuff that you get with this game and show you some of our gameplay at the end. That's really just wild and funny and hilarious, and it's just pretty cool, man. If you guys got some time, you got nothing to do, go check it out. It's super fun. I guarantee you'll have a good time, at least watching some portion of that video.
Oh, definitely, man. Lots of fun, man. But yeah, definitely. We look forward to playing some games with you guys real soon. But hey, guess what? We got some cool news kind of coming at you guys. But man, now we got an event that you guys should know about.
Absolutely.
All right, man, this is the benefit for chainsaw. We were just talking about Jason and stuff. I know he didn't really run around with a chainsaw, but, we're not just talking about any chainsaw. We're talking about Vero Beach's own Joe Grover, man. Recently Joe had some real hardships kind of come in where he's having some difficulties working. So the bands that, we all love Joe. He's put on so many great shows at the Stamp up there in Vero. I know he played at Reunite with the Strip Mall Avengers, so definitely hope things get better, man. But yeah, they're throwing together this awesome benefit for him, man. The bands are getting together and rocking out at night. If you guys want to check it out, it's Saturday, February 10th, so this upcoming Saturday. The show's kicking off at 8 p.m. And what better place to rock out a tribute for Chainsaw and his birthday bash, can't forget that, is at the Stamp in Vero. It is $10 admission. You will get a raffle ticket with your admission. Prizes for the raffle include tattoo and restaurant gift certificates. I mean, I'm sure not together. Either winner. I mean, that would be kind of a cool
tattoo
combo.
and restaurant. We'll open it up. I'm sure the health code will be outstanding.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, bands include OSF, who recently returned. Break the Hero. Joe Dyer, our hero, is definitely going to be there. Put to the End, and many more. So definitely check it out. Sponsors include Enemy Inc. Tattoos, Outback Steakhouse.
Man, that's pretty nice. They sponsored the first episode of the Power Hour that we did.
Absolutely. And Mr. Fusion will tell you because he got that gift certificate.
Absolutely. He'll be here next week to tell us all about it.
Oh, man. But yeah, definitely, guys, go out there, support Joe Grover Chainsaw, man. He's been a great tribute to the music community here in the Treasure Coast. So definitely go out, celebrate his birthday, and help him out throughout this hard time, man.
Absolutely, guys. Like we said, here at the Power Hour, man, we're all about spreading the good times and spreading the love. Here's a great time. Let's go and spread some love.
Let's do it, man. All right, ready to get back into some more time loops, man?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's cycle back on back.
Let's keep it spinning.
Oh, that's
Video Game Zone.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
I guess I could have changed that back to the ribbon. That's all right.
Hey, that's all good, man. I still think that's an awesome transition, man. If you guys dig that transition, hit that little love button in there, man. I love it. So give him some love, man.
Show some love for the Video Game Zone, man.
You know it, man.
Or maybe not. We ain't going to show him no love.
Oh, no love right now, man. That's because the video game just rules, man. The
video game just got pissed. It was like, what do you mean you're bumping me? You bumping me?
Mr. Fusion saying he didn't receive his gift certificate. Well, guess what, Mr. Fusion? Next week you'll be in here, man. You could definitely tell everybody about all the love. Oh,
hey,
there we go.
Love.
Yeah.
There's some love for Mr. Fusion. How about that?
There you go, man. Awesome.
You can cry your woes next week.
But here, we're back to talking about some awesome time loops, man. What are we covering now, man?
We are covering the TV shows, man. It's a moment you guys have been waiting for. If you're wanting to hear about some Star Trek, I saw people blowing it up in the comments earlier, man. We're going to talk about an episode of Star Trek. We're going to talk about some fantasy shows that have this sort of thing in it. Some other sci-fi shows. We got all sorts of cool stuff, man. Let's jump right into it. You want to jump right into it?
Let's do it, man. Rock on.
All right, man. Now, I know a lot of people are keeping up to this week after week, just like I am. And we're hitting you with something right current, right off the bat.
Woo!
Oh, my little graphic died. What happened? Let's do it.
Oh,
the Agents
man.
of S.H.I.E.L.D., man. We know you guys love it. We did our video, what was it, the second video we ever did or something?
Yeah.
Was all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. Right when it was about to air, we did a preview episode about it with Kelly Jade. Like I said, we'll throw a card or something up here so you guys can click over, link to that. But it was like our highest viewed video so far. People absolutely loved it. So we're like, hey, man, we'll keep you posted on what's going on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Absolutely.
But again, we want to stay true to the show. We don't just want to be mentioning it every 10 seconds trying to get some extra viewers. But this week, man, this fell right in line because they just announced that they are actually stuck currently in a time loop.
Oh, man. Hey, perfect timing.
Absolutely. You can't beat it, But yeah, so anyone who hasn't seen the show or is trying to keep up and hasn't caught the latest episode, we're not going to spoil anything for you. I know they've kind of been teasing this for the last few weeks, and they finally just hammered the nail in the coffin, and we're definitely like caught in the loop. But the whole cast and crew of the show there, they're traveling through time and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. We'll leave it at that. It's a super great show. If you love it, throw some love in the comments. If you guys want to hear more about it, throw a comment down there. We'll do another episode all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for you guys and what they're doing so far. But for right now, we just wanted to let you guys know, if you haven't seen Season 5, if you haven't caught up with the show lately, they are definitely dealing with some future tech, some time travel, and some really cool themes in the latest season, man. You guys might want to go and check it out. So have fun with that.
Awesome.
All right. Now getting back to our throwback, man.
Oh yeah,
Let's cross over.
Definitely, man. The Twilight Zone was always known for its surprise endings and just really wild
concepts.
Oh,
man.
dude, and even earlier I saw Ben C throw out there that some of H.P. Lovecraft's stories were kind of dealing with temporal loops and stuff like that, and just different, really like it was like you could get lost in time and space in H.P. Lovecraft's world. So definitely, yeah, a lot of Twilight Zone, definitely borrowed from those things. But one episode in particular that we want to talk about is called Shadow Play. So the thing about this one was, as a man, he's on trial for a murder, and he keeps reliving what he calls a nightmare, but he's retaining knowledge every time they execute him.
Oh, man.
So this definitely does fall very close into that the Groundhog's Day like thing, but more almost like a mix with the Happy Death Day, where he dies every night, but he's retaining his knowledge. But here's the wild thing: in his loop, things change. Sometime this person from his memory might be this guy or this, so things alter. So I mean, there are some steady differences there, but I would say, like, as far as like the classic stuff goes, this is very close to the Groundhog's Day time loop that we've been talking about.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it sounds like it hits the nail right on the head. I know they have this whole collection of the Twilight Zone on Netflix right now. And
oh yeah,
man, like, I know we burned through a couple episodes. I know I haven't caught this one yet, but I'm going to have to check it out because, yeah, man, their premises are always so spot on in that sci-fi genre. And the way they've really cleaned up the footage and all, it's just beautiful. It's really good stuff, man. So,
absolutely. And this episode is available. I think it's in like the second or third season, so you guys can go check it out. Shadow Play from 1961.
Whew, that's throwing it back there, man. I'm going to jump back in time a little bit too, but not quite that far. Look, here we go. We got an image there for that.
Play.
Sorry, I forgot to click that over. I was looking here. Party Man Will's just smashing that love button like 80 times for Twilight Zone. It's making me laugh.
You guys are big fans.
Yeah, but I'm going to take us back only a couple years, about the 2008-ish range, and I'm going to jump back to season 3 of Supernatural.
Okay, very popular CW show.
Absolutely, man. A very popular show all the way around. This thing is like up to its 13th season now. So this thing is really rocking and rolling. It doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon, and I don't blame them. It's a really good, fun show. It's a very guy show, so it's pretty cool. But brothers driving around in their cool car, fighting monsters and stuff. So it's a lot of fun, but it does have sort of that charmed element of supernaturalist stuff that you can kind of get your girl to sit down and watch this. So it's fun for the whole family. But I'm taking us back to episode 11 on season 3 called Mystery Spot. Now, Mystery Spot is absolutely an homage to Groundhog's Day.
Oh, cool.
No doubt about it. The brother Sam, he relives the same day over and over, continually having to deal with the death of his brother Dean.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, right off the bat, within the first few minutes of the episode, Dean gets killed. And you're like, oh my gosh, dude, that's terrible. Let me see. I got a graphic of it there. Yeah, it's pretty like, whoa, man. And Sam wakes up, bam, just like Groundhog's Day, on his alarm. The alarm clock is playing Heat of the Moment by Asia.
Okay.
So he continually wakes up to this song every morning right after seeing his brother die. And it's like, yeah, sometimes he gets a piano dropped on his head. I mean, he gets hit by cars, he gets shot, he gets killed by monsters, and they're in the same town. And they can't get away. They can't get out no matter what they do. His brother dies over and over and over again. And what I really like about this episode and why I wanted to bring it up was because as it's an homage to Groundhog's Day, this really delves into the depth of the toll it takes on Sam to watch his brother die over and over and him being unable to stop it.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, the actor does a great job of really showing how he kind of breaks down, and he's just having a hard time even facing his brother every day because he knows what's going to happen.
Well, like we were saying earlier, like, Bill Murray's character in Groundhog Day, like he's on a job assignment in a different town, so he doesn't really like see anybody. Well, he sees some people he knows, but he's not, he's visiting somewhere, so you don't really see him have like a family or friend interaction there. So it's like this really kind of drills that home in a different aspect where like his brother is the central point.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, like I said, he really gets shook up by it to the point where at the end of the episode, he's like coming to pieces. just wondering what he can do to get out of this situation. And if you haven't seen it, that's all I'm going to tell you, man. Go check it out. It's a super fun show. I think anybody who sat down and watched just that episode would have a good time. So it's available on Netflix. Go and check it out. It's super fun, guys. Hope you enjoy.
Real quick second, man, I just noticed that in our comments, man, we've been joined by the mighty Bill Casanelli, man.
Oh, man.
Our buddy Bill from way up in Maine, man. Definitely good friend of ours for many years, man. If you guys are really into the horror movie stuff, definitely check out his show, The Horror Mafia, man. They have a podcast, man. You can check them out on iTunes and stuff. Great show, man. Great to see you in here, Bill.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And in a few weeks, I think we're going to have a full-on RPG Dungeons & Dragons episode, so we'll make sure to give you a shout-out to stop on by.
Many a great games played with Bill in the past.
Absolutely, man. But I see you're heading out to go do a podcast yourself, so have fun. We'll try to check it out as soon as we can.
Absolutely, man. What do we got next?
All right, coming up next, we're going back to Star Trek The Next Generation.
We know you guys have been waiting.
Who's got the big ups for it? Yeah, we're going to have a drink of water.
Yes.
Feel free to throw some likes.
Plus, we got a lot of talking to do for this one. So, there they
Absolutely.
go. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all that. It's a lot of fun, man. It keeps us going. But we're jumping back to 1992, the episode Cause and Effect.
Oh, man. So it's even predating Groundhog's Day in the
Absolutely,
movie.
yeah. Yeah, so the Enterprise gets stuck in a loop whereby the ship is continually destroyed. Let's see, I think I got a clip of that too. I got a clip of Kelsey Grammer.
There you go.
Is that it? I think that's it. That's all I got.
No, a little spoil.
Yeah, we're on a time loop here, jumping back and forth. I thought I had a clip of the ship getting wrecked. I guess I don't. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I love Party Man Will here. He says, it's about goddamn time. We know that it's about time.
I know. You should have been here during the first loop, Will, and you would have got it earlier. But anyways, in Cause and Effect, yes, Kelsey Grammer shows up as a captain from more like Kirk's time, as you can see. So what's cool about the episode is that he's stuck in a time loop where he's getting sent to the Enterprise's time, and that ship collides with the Enterprise, and the two ships both are destroyed. And they keep reliving the same loop over and over as you're watching the episode, and it just starts right over. As soon as it's destroyed, it like cuts to commercial, and when it comes back from commercial, it's playing where the episode began.
It was so cool.
So you're kind of like, hey, what's going on? The first few times it happens, you're just like, oh, wait. But yeah, ultimately you realize that they're caught in this loop and they're trying to do something to figure out how to get out of it. In true sci-fi fashion, they have some cool technology where they can pick up echoes and whispers of their past loops and are able to determine what happened and save the Enterprise and the other ship in the end, saving Kelsey Grammer for his super awesome guest appearance on Star Trek, which is super cool.
What I really liked about the episode is where it began. It's one of those classic openings where they're sitting in there and they're playing a friendly game of poker,
Yes.
And then that's where
no help to the Klingon.
yeah, that's pretty funny. Data was definitely giving Worf a hard time on that one, but yeah, it was just cool that they start to catch on. Like, wait a minute, like they get that whole thing like, I think I'm having deja vu, which is definitely something you hear. I mean, in Happy Death Day and stuff, they say, I think I'm having deja vu, and it's kind of cool that kind of works its way in with that, where they're like, wait a minute, what's happening here? But like you said, just
Beverly can remember all the cards that they're about to deal as it's going around. Really cool.
And like you said, the thing with the commercial break, like when you watch it on Netflix, like it's so like, I mean, I could just imagine if you were watching it and you walked away and then you came back, you'd be like with the commercials actually in there on TV.
Why the hell are you walking away from Star Trek, man?
Well, maybe you had to use
don't be going to the kitchen and getting a soda or something. You pause that shit, man.
But there was no pause back in the day. You just had to sit there holding your
Definitely.
bladder.
Okay. If it was I thought you were talking about you watching it on Netflix or wandering out of the room or something.
No. I'm very attentive when I watch
You're in the zone, huh? All right.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to drop some cool knowledge on you guys out here. When they cast this episode and they got Kelsey Grammer involved, the producers and stuff were trying to get Kirstie Alley to come back and play Lieutenant Savick, reprise her role and make her the first mate of the ship. So they ended up hiring this actress that they thought looked like her a whole bunch to kind of play the same part, as they cover up her ears and stuff like that. Just for the simple purpose of being Kirstie Alley and Kelsey Grammer starred together for so many years on Cheers.
Yeah.
They were like, it'd be cool to see the two of them together.
That'd be
And they're like,
pretty
okay, well, this is the best we can do, so we kind of make it look like they're together.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I just thought that was a trip.
I was gonna say, like, Memory Alpha, that website, like, you go on there and sometimes you can read some of the trivia. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that's behind almost every Star Trek episode. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there, a lot of rich history in the Star Trek world, man. So that was just a neat little nugget of knowledge, but something that gets totally passed by. We kind of clipped it a little bit earlier. We may have gave you guys the inside info. You'll feel like you're in a time loop seeing the clip come up again. But, man, we're going to talk about this show that doesn't get enough credit, man, The X-Files.
Oh, you know it, man. And I mean, that's one thing. Like, when you talk about different tropes and stuff, like with horror and sci-fi and stuff, I mean, I would have to say, like, The X-Files did a great job, like, peering into each one of those. But man, if we're going to talk about, Groundhog's Day like loops, we got to talk about Monday from 1998. So it was definitely in the later half of the X-Files.
Absolutely. I think this was one I actually missed, which I'm pretty bummed about, because when I heard you talking about it, I was like, dude, that's killer. But I know I only caught the first couple of seasons of this, then the movies and so on from there. But yeah, man, considering this is made by the same guy that made Breaking Bad,
Yes.
Better Call Saul, and all that,
Yes.
this was like, he cut his teeth on this back in the day. So, man, if you haven't gotten around to checking out the X-Files, you're missing out on a lot of cool stuff. Especially if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone or any kind of anthology. This is like an anthology show because of all the weird stuff that goes on. But by the same token, you've got Mulder and Scully kind of being your linear continuity through the show. So it's a awesome premise, really great. Why don't you tell me about this episode I missed?
So in this episode, a woman desperately attempts to change the outcome of the events of the day, where she's forced to relive again and again where her boyfriend explodes a bomb during a failed bank robbery.
Oh, man.
So definitely it's got a pretty, like, it's almost like on the same wave as Supernatural, where like it's a family member that she's trying to save. So I mean, being the time frame, I'm sure the guys from Supernatural might have even kind of tapped this a little bit from some resource.
So Mulder and Scully aren't looping through time. It's this other woman.
Well, they get affected by the bomb blast as well.
Oh,
so
man.
definitely it has some real effects. I know Party Man Will, our resident X-Files expert, I'm sure he's seen this episode and he could throw some stuff in the comments about it. I mean, like, the one thing like you said about the X-Files is it touched on so many wide array of subject matter, and had a lot of great special guests and directors. I know there was like an episode directed by Stephen King.
Wow.
Our buddy Jim Rose.
Yeah. He was in there.
Yeah, he was definitely in there with the Enigma. But yeah, this episode in particular, if you guys are looking for something that's very much in the vein of Groundhog's Day, definitely has a very similar premise. And you'll have to watch it and see how they get out of this loop.
Absolutely, guys. I'm going to have to check it out because I haven't seen that one yet. But, man, it sounds wicked cool. I'm totally digging it. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the cool time travel stuff that we've talked about tonight. If we missed a show or a film that you've seen that deals with this premise, or if you just happen to like a particular time travel scenario, loop, paradox, whatever, throw it in the comments. I know Ben C threw some curve paradox in there I'd never even heard of earlier. So feel free to explain that in the comment, man, or send me a Wikipedia link if you're like, dude, you could look it up. But yeah, we appreciate it, man. Let us know what you guys have seen out there so that we can check it out. We hope we introduced you guys into some cool episodes, shows, and movies that maybe you hadn't heard of, and we hope that you guys enjoy the trope.
Absolutely, man. So what do we got next, Bandito? Are we closing us out for the night, or do we have any more?
Yeah, I actually put those last few sides over in the news.
Oh, okay, okay. Do we want to just call it a night, or
no? We can head to the newsroom one last time. Why not? We're not doing any news. We're just going to do some final words, but we're going to jump in the newsroom to do them.
Absolutely, check it out, guys.
PoDunk News.
All right, guys. Well, one thing I think we've already kind of proven like how much like Groundhog's Day's like legacy has, changed things in in our media. But man, there's still, even though the movie's, so many years old, like it still actually has stuff going on to this day. Like this slide we have here, the movie itself wasn't filmed in the town, in Pennsylvania. It was filmed in Woodstock, Illinois.
Oh, that's why I kept thinking it was in Illinois. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. Now, here's the cool part, man. On Groundhog's Day, and actually I think you could even do this throughout the year as well, they offer like tours of the different filming locations. So
awesome.
You can go to the, like you said, the cafe where he goes,
Yeah.
and the different part, where they have the thing in the park.
Yeah, the movie theater where he cuts the chainsaw, ice sculptures and stuff.
Exactly. So it's kind of like you can live out your own Groundhog's Day. And yeah, man, they really embrace it, So they call it Groundhog's Days, which I guess probably not just for the one day, probably that week they have a big celebration. And yeah, man, they do screenings of the film. They have like a big dinner like dedicated.
Nice.
And then yeah, the touring of the filming location. So it's pretty cool.
Heck yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, man. I don't know if I'll ever make it out to Illinois, but if I'm ever in Woodstock, I'll go check it out, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right, I also heard some news that they got a full-on Groundhog's Day musical that you can go and see.
Absolutely, man. This premiered in the UK in 2016, and now it's over here in the US in 2017. So definitely, like you said, man, it's based on the film. So definitely the characters are going to be the same with some music pieces thrown in there. So I think it'd be very cool. I'm a fan of musicals.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I mean, I kind of wasn't. Then the first South Park movie came out, and I was like, I could get into it. That's pretty cool.
Hey, if you're into musicals, put a like in the comments.
Yeah, if you're down there watching those crossover episodes of The Flash just to see the musicals, yeah.
Those are good episodes. They're pretty awesome. So what's next, man?
All right, last but not least,
yes,
an ode to the military. Thank you guys for all your service and stuff like that. We actually came across an interesting fact that they actually use the term Groundhog Day for an extended or repeated tour of duty.
Absolutely, man. This was first used by Bill Clinton in 1996, where he was talking about certain events in Bosnia and how things were being repeated. But yeah, even up to the point of the times in Iraq, that a lot of the servicemen and stuff will be like, yep, I'm going on another Groundhog Day, because it's like they just feel like they're never getting out of that loop. So
yeah, the same crap you guys deal with, all in the name of freedom, all in the name of America, and to give us the opportunity to do the stuff that we do, man. So thank you guys for that.
People have said that it's almost taken the place of the World War II snafu. And if you don't know what that means, go check it out.
yeah. The classic foo bar. That's always been my favorite.
Yes.
But all right, let's jump back in the studio and we'll say goodnight to you guys and let you go. How's that sound?
Oh, sounds good, man.
All right, guys, welcome to the Power Hour. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Having some fun with you guys. But, man, if you guys had fun tonight, we know it was a real sci-fi heavy. We jumped into different media and stuff, but it sounds like everyone was still having a good time in the comments. We always appreciate you guys liking and sharing and interacting with us. But, man, like El Bandito mentioned earlier, which, we're in a loop right now, so we're going to talk about it again. Tell them what we're doing next week, El Bandito.
Absolutely, guys. We're having our 3-year anniversary episode. It'll be a lot of fun and pretty exciting. We're going to have some giveaways for all you awesome listeners out there. We're going to have a special guest in studio. Like we said, Mr. Fusion himself is coming in. We're going to have some fun with him. We're going to do a big Valentine's Day celebration. We're going to be counting down the 5 biggest, well, I shouldn't say biggest, our 5 favorite opening weekend Valentine's Day movies, like movies that opened over Valentine's Day weekend. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, they don't just have to be love stories, but if they opened up on that weekend that you kind of like dragged your girlfriend or wife or significant
or
other.
she dragged you to see some movie out there, let's face it. But we did some research on this and we found out that some kick-ass movies came out over Valentine's Day weekend. I think you guys will be super surprised at what they are. So make sure to join us next week and you'll get to hear all about that and let us know what you think of the movies we picked as our 5 favorite Valentine's Day weekend opening movies.
Oh, yeah, El Bandito. Like I said, I'm super stoked, man. We're going to be celebrating our anniversary. And like we said, it always falls right around Valentine's Day. So we always have some real cool stuff for you guys.
Absolutely. We'll be spreading the love with some prizes, some games, and some contests, man. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As always, we'll see you next time. If you can throw a like and subscribe, like the page, whatever, do that. That's awesome. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yeah.